Our bodies, like all living things, are made up of cells. Inside each cell is something called DNA, which is a molecule that determines whether we're a tree, a dog, or a human. DNA is composed of a string of 4 smaller molecules called bases that pair up and string together in long winding ladders. Our unique DNA sequence is called a genome, and in humans is made up of 3 billion base pairs. If you were to compare the DNA of one human to another, you would find 99.9% of those 3 billion pairs of letters are the same. It is that 0.1% difference that makes each of us unique and determines who we are. This is known as our genotype. Our genome defines who we can be and can determine how our bodies respond to different medications. All medications have the potential to cause side effects. These can range from mildly annoying, like a rash, to severe or even life-threatening. Little is known about how or why these side effects occur, and it is often difficult to predict them. Part of the answer lies within our genes. Genes are segments of DNA that provide instructions for how our bodies develop and function. While every individual's DNA contains a similar set of genes, some genes have certain variants that increase the chances of experiencing certain side effects. In the same way that gene variants combine to specify how tall you are or what color eyes you have, different gene variants may lead to unusual responses to certain medications. The results of these gene combinations are called traits, or more technically, phenotypes. A phenotype is an observable trait resulting from the interaction of genes and the environment. Everything besides our genes, such as the meal you ate in the morning, is part of your environment, as is the drug you took with your meal. Because environment can vary so dramatically, it is essential to consider both genes and environment when thinking about drug effects. This is the essence of what we call pharmacogenomics. But how do we find out which gene variants are associated with different responses to medication? Fortunately, genetic tests can help us, and this is where we need you. Until recently, we tested genes one at a time. Advances in technology now allow us to sequence or read DNA in a single test using a simple saliva sample. We can then compare the gene variants of people who experience similar responses to medication. By using these methods, we hope to expand our knowledge of pharmacogenomics and use it to make us all healthier. Our goal is that one day we'll be able to use your own unique DNA sequence to predict your response to medication. You have been provided with a detailed consent form that explains what this study involves. We are doing these genetic tests on participants who meet the criteria listed. If you decide to join this study, we will collect your saliva sample along with any additional information required. All samples we collect will be stored in a secure biobank, which is a storage facility for biological samples with tightly controlled and monitored access. From your saliva sample, we will extract your DNA, use a machine to read it, and store that information in a database where it can be analyzed. By storing this information, we will have the opportunity to study your DNA at a later date. Future research may involve confidentially linking the information collected in this study to other de-identified information about you. Everything we plan to do with your information is listed in your consent form, and you will be notified as documented. Keep in mind, confidentiality is of the utmost importance to us, and we will take all possible measures to maintain your privacy. Please read your consent form carefully and make sure you understand it. If you have questions, ask your pharmacist or the contact listed on your form. If you choose to participate in this study, you will be compensated for your time. Your participation is voluntary, and you can refuse or withdraw your consent without changing the quality of care you receive. We hope you join us in our research on making medication use safer and more effective. And we thank you for your participation.